Namaste Bitya. Myself JVN Neha Sani from Physiotherapy and Diagnostics, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. Here I am going to tell you about the anatomy of small intestine. So in this diagram we can see the location of the small intestine. It is surrounded by the large intestine and is located below the stomach. Intestine, which is the longest part of the digestive tube, it is divided into small and the large intestine. Food has to be digested, metabolized and stored for expulsion into the intestines. The small intestine extends from the pylorus to the ileocecal junction. It is about 6 meters long. It is approximately 2.5 to 3 centimeters in diameter, and the surface area of the human small intestine mucosa averages about 30 meters square. So here we can see the small intestine and the three parts of the small intestine, that is duodenum, jejunum and ileum. The length is greater in males than in females. It receives the bile juice and pancreatic juice through the pancreatic duct and controlled by the sphincter of Oddi. Ileocecal sphincter, it is the transition between the small and the large intestine. So this is the sphincter of Oddi, which we have read in this image, that is the bile juice and pancreatic juice. They are controlled by the sphincter of Oddi. So this is the sphincter of Oddi. It is controlling the secretions of bile duct and the pancreatic duct. Now this is the ileocecal junction, that is the junction between the ileum and the cecum. Cecum means the large intestine, ileum is the small intestine. Now the three regions of the small intestine are duodenum, jejunum, ileum. They are highlighted with different colors. So here we can see the duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Now first we consider about the duodenum. The duodenum word arises from a Greek word, that is dodecadactylus, means 12 fingers. So its length is approximately the length of the 12 fingers. That is why it is named as duodenum. Duodenum is a short structure about 20 to 25 centimeters long, and it is continuous with the stomach and shaped like a capital C. It lies above the level of the umbilicus, opposite to the first, second and third lumbar vertebrae. It surrounds the head of pancreas. Duodenum receives gastric chyme from the stomach together with the digestive juices from the pancreas and the gallbladder. The digestive enzymes break down the proteins and bile and emulsify fats into micelles. The duodenum contains Brunner's gland, which produce a mucus-like alkaline secretion containing bicarbonate. These secretions in combination with bicarbonate from the pancreas neutralizes the stomach acids contained in the gastric chyme. Now there is a suspensory muscle of duodenum or ligament of Treves, which is a fibromuscular band which suspends and supports the duodenojejunal flexure. It arises from the left crus of the diaphragm close to the right side of the esophagus. It passes downwards behind the pancreas and is attached to the posterior surface of the duodenojejunal flexure and third and the fourth parts of the duodenum. Now, in the upper part, this ligament of Treves contains striated muscle. In the middle, 1/3, it is made up of elastic tissue, and the lower 1/3, it is made up of smooth muscle fibers. So this is the ligament of Treves. Here we can see the green color structure. This is the ligament of Treves or suspensory ligament of duodenum. It is connecting this duodenojejunal flexure, means the connection between the duodenum and the jejunum point to the left crus of the diaphragm. So this is your ligament of Treves. Now there are four parts in the stomach. First part is the superior, second is descending, third is horizontal and fourth is ascending part. So this resembles the shape of a capital C alphabet. It is first we consider about the first part of the duodenum. First part of the duodenum is 5 centimeters long and it is lying anterolateral to the body of L1 vertebrae, and it is the most movable part of the duodenum. Then the second part, it is 8 to 10 centimeters long. It descends along the sides of L1 through L3 vertebra. And third part, It is 10 centimeters long. It crosses the L3 vertebrae. And the fourth part is the ascending part. It is 2.5 centimeters long and begins at the left of L3rd vertebrae and rises superiorly as far as superior border of L2 and continues with the jejunum. Now the arterial supply of the duodenum, it is supplied by the superior pancreaticoduodenal artery and inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery. Then the venous drainage, the arteries are accompanied by the corresponding veins and the veins drain into superior mesenteric vein, splenic vein and the portal vein. Now we come to the jejunum. Jejunum is the midsection of the small intestine connecting the duodenum to the ileum. It is about 2.5 meters long and contains the plica circularis and villi that increase its surface area. The products of digestion, that is the sugars, amino acids and fatty acids, these are absorbed into the bloodstream here. The suspensory muscle of duodenum marks the division between the duodenum and jejunum. Now the ileum, it is a final section of the small intestine. It is about 3 meters long and contains villi similar to jejunum. It absorbs mainly vitamin B12, bile acids as well as any other remaining nutrient. The ileum joins to the cecum of the large intestine at the ileocecal junction. So these are the differences between the jejunum and ileum. Here we can see that the color of jejunum is deeper red while ileum has paler pink in color. The wall is thick in case of jejunum and it is thin in case of ileum. Vascularity is more in jejunum than ileum. Now the arcades. Arcades having few and large loops. Arcades are made up of the arteries. So arcades are these circular loops. These loops are few and large in case of jejunum and many and small in case of ileum. So here we can see the arcades in case of jejunum. The arterial arcade is this one. It is large and in case of ileum it is small. Here we can see these are the small arches. So these are the arterial arcades. And the vertical branches arising from these arcades, these are the vasa recta. So these vasa recta are small in case of ileum and larger in case of jejunum. Here you can see again these are the vasa recta, the vertical branches from the arterial arcades. So vasa recta, they are long in jejunum and small in ileum. Then fat in the mesentery is lesser in jejunum, more in ileum. Like in the diagram we can see the yellowish part of this image, this yellowish part is the fat in the mesentery. Mesentery is what? It is a fold of peritoneum which is connecting your intestine with the posterior abdominal wall. So this yellow colored structure is the fat. It is more in case of ileum. Here we can see more fat and here the lesser fat is there. And the area where fat is absent, that area is known as window. So windows are more in case of jejunum. These are smaller windows where fat is absent. And window is very less in case of ileum. Now the circular folds, that is the plica circularis. These are large in case of jejunum and lower, smaller in case of ileum. So plica circularis are what? These are the mucosal folds. Here we can see these zigzag spiral structures. These are the plica circularis. These are larger in case of jejunum and very small in case of ileum. Then we have the lymphoid follicles, that is your Peyer's patches. These are very less in case of jejunum and very more in case of ileum. So here we cannot see any Peyer's patch and there we can the Peyer's patch. This is the lymphoid follicle, the Peyer's patch, which is found in case of ileum. So these are the differences between the jejunum and ileum. Now the wall of the small intestine again has the 4 layers, that is the innermost is the mucosa, outside is the submucosa, third layer is the muscular layer and the external layer is the serosa. So the serosa is made up of peritoneum. Muscular coat is made up of smooth muscle fibers which are arranged in inner circular and outer longitudinal muscle fibers. Some mucosa contain loose connective tissue, large venous plexuses, and in case of duodenum, it contains the Brunner's gland. Brunner's gland are nothing but the mucus glands. Then the mucosa are composed of epithelium, that is simple columnar epithelium. Below that we have the lamina propria. Then muscularis mucosae. Plicae circularis, these are numerous in jejunum, and Pierce patches, they are present in ileum, that we have discussed in the previous slides. Then we have the intestinal folds. These are the intestinal folds which are finger-like in appearance. Now come to the histology of the small intestine. In this we have the plicae. These are the transverse fold which we have read. Then the villi. These are the finger-like projections of the mucosa. So these are the plicae circularis. These are the circular folds. These are also known as valve of Kerckring or valvulae connivantes. These are large valvular flaps projecting into the lumen of the small intestine, and they begin in the second part of the duodenum. So here we can see the plicae circularis. Now in the duodenum we have Brunner's gland which produce mucus and buffers the gastric acid secretions. Now the intestinal villi, another characteristic feature of the intestine is the intestinal villi. These are finger-like projections of the mucous membrane just visible to the naked eye. They give the surface of the intestinal mucosa a velvety appearance, and they are large and numerous in the duodenum, jejunum, but smaller in the ileum, and they are vary in density from 10 to 40 per square millimeter and are about 1 to 2 millimeters long. So this is the intestinal villi. These are tiny projections on the inner wall of the small intestine. These are densest in the duodenum, and they have the function for increasing the surface area for absorption. They also contains the lacteals which absorb fatty acid and glycerols. They secretes the goblet cells. They have the goblet cells for secretion of the mucus, and they have the intestinal glands. They possess microvilli. Microvilli means the branched villus is known as microvilli, which secretes peptidases, sucrase, maltase, lactase, and intestinal lipase. Then they have capillaries which absorb the simple sugars, amino acids, electrolytes, and water. Now the intestinal glands, also known as crypts of Lieberkühn, these are the small tubular glands which are distributed over the entire mucous membrane of the jejunum and ileum. They open by small circular apertures on the surface of mucous membrane between the villi. They secrete digestive enzymes and mucus. So here we can see the intestinal gland which is containing different cells like absorptive cells, goblet cell, enteroendocrine cells, and Paneth cells. All have different functions. Absorptive cells are for the absorption, goblet cell for the secretion of mucus, enteroendocrine cells, they secrete the secretin and cholecystokinin hormones, Paneth cells, they secrete the lysozyme. Now the lymphatic follicles, which is another characteristic feature in the histology of the intestine, it is the mucous membrane of the small intestine which contain two types of lymphatic follicles, that is solitary lymphatic follicle and aggregated lymphatic follicle, which are also known as Pierce patches. Pierce patches are ulcerated in typhoid fever and forming oval ulcers with their long axis along the long axis of the bowel. So this is the Pierce patches. Now we have a term known as mesentery. It is a broad fan-shaped fold of the peritoneum that suspends the jejunum and ileum from the posterior abdominal wall. It conveys nutrition and innervation to the small intestine. It is about 15 centimeters long, extends from left side of the L1 vertebrae at the duodenal-jejunal junction to the right sacroiliac joint at the ileocecal junction. So here we can see the borders of mesentery, which has two borders, the vertebral border, or which is the attached border, also known as root of mesentery, and the intestinal border, which is enclosing the intestine. It is the pre-border. So this is the root of mesentery extending from ileocecal junction up to the duodenojejunal flexure. This is the root of mesentery. Here we can again see the root of mesentery. Now the blood supply. Arterial supply are by the branches of superior mesenteric artery, and the venous drainage is into superior mesenteric vein. Now the nerve supply is by the sympathetic nerve supply is by thoracic 6th to 9th spinal nerve, and parasympathetic by the vagus. In the jejunum and ileum also, sympathetic and parasympathetic innervation is derived from vagus nerve from superior mesenteric plexus. Now the functions, as we have discussed earlier, it is control the onward movement of its content by peristalsis, which is increased by parasympathetic stimulation. Secretion of intestinal juice also increased by the parasympathetic stimulation. Completion of chemical digestion of carbohydrates, proteins, fats in the enterocytes of the villi. Protection against infection by microbes that have survived the antimicrobial action of the hydrochloric acid in the stomach, and by the solitary lymph follicles and aggregated lymph follicles. Secretion of the hormone, that is your cholecystokinin, and secreting and absorption of the nutrients. Now come to the applied. One is the peptic ulcer disease, that is PUD, is also known as peptic ulcer or stomach ulcer. It is a break in the lining of the stomach or in the first part of the small intestine, or occasionally the lower esophagus. So here we can see the peptic ulcer. It is an ulcer in the first part of the intestine, that is the duodenum. That is what is known as duodenal ulcer also. The causes can be H. pylori, bacteria, or some drugs, or stress. Next is the celiac disease. It is a gastric pain because of eating food with gluten, and it is causing discomfort, a pain in the gastric. Also known as celiac sprui or gluten sensitive enteropathy, and is digestive and autoimmune disorder that results in damage to the lining of the small intestine when foods with gluten are eaten. Symptoms include some digestive problems like gas, diarrhea, pale stool, abdominal bloating, pain, and weight loss. There may have severe skin rash and dermatitis, iron deficiency, anemia, growth problems, tingling sensations in the neck, legs. Next is the inflammatory disease like Crohn. It is a chronic inflammatory bowel disease that affects the lining of the digestive tract, and this causes inflammation in the eye, stomatitis, inflammation of liver and bile duct, diarrhea, abdominal pain, rectal bleeding, weight loss, vomiting, skin ulcers. These are the symptoms of Crohn's disease. Next is diverticular disease. Diverticulosis is the formation of numerous tiny pockets, as we have seen in this image. These are the tiny pockets or diverticula in the lining of the bowel. The diverticula, which can range from pea size to a much larger, and are formed by the increased pressure on the weakened spots in the intestine walls by gas, waste, or liquid. Now come to the questions which can be asked in your exams. First is write a detailed account on anatomical features, blood supply and nerve supply of the duodenum. So in this you have to discuss about the structure of the duodenum along with its blood and nerve supply. Then second question is write short note on intestinal villi. So in this we have to discuss about the structure of the intestinal villi and differences between jejunum and ileum. Now this is the exercise for you. You have to draw this diagram in your files. This is the internal histology of the small intestine. Then this is the internal structure of the duodenum. This is another exercise for you. You should draw this diagram in your files and color it as it is in your diagram. So this completes your topic, small intestine. Thank you.